I now give the floor to His Excellency Uthman Girandi, Minister for Foreign Affairs of Tunisia.
Your Excellency, President of the General Assembly, Your Excellency, Secretary General of the United Nations, Majesties, Highnesses, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me at the outset to congratulate Mr. Abdullah Shahid and the Friendly Republic of the Maldives on presiding over the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly. We wish him success in this noble endeavor. We express our deep appreciation to Mr. Volkan Bozkir for wisely conducting our work in the previous session. Allow me also to warmly congratulate Mr. Antonio Guterres on his re-election as Secretary General of the United Nations. We stress that Tunisia supports his initiative to promote the role of the organization and ensure an effective response to the current international challenges. I would like to seize this opportunity to express the deep thanks and appreciation of the people and leadership of Tunisia to all those who supported our national efforts to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. This has allowed Tunisia to get out of the woods and progressively embark on its journey to recover from this destructive pandemic. Mr. President, the theme of the current session, namely building resilience through hope to recover from COVID-19, rebuild sustainably, respond to the needs of the planet, respect the rights of people, and revitalize the United Nations, reflects the organization's will to overcome these challenges and find appropriate solutions. But it also requires us, as international community, to develop the necessary mechanisms to transform this hope into a tangible reality, so that people around the world can live equally wherever they are. What is certain today is that the United Nations cannot overcome exceptional challenges, exceptional in terms of size, nature, complexity, and repercussions, by resorting to its traditional tools, which, for decades, have failed in providing final and successful solutions to different crises. The COVID-19 pandemic has unveiled the need for developing policies based on solidarity and justice, policies that ensure resilience in the face of crises, policies that pave the way towards a solution for the millions of people who slipped into extreme poverty, for millions of children who no longer have access to education, for millions of refugees and displaced persons threatened by famine, malnutrition, climate change, and conflicts. Hope cannot be built on protectionism, nationalism, and insularity. It can only emerge from a strong multilateral framework agreed upon by everyone, a framework that meets the needs and aspirations of everyone. Today, we are facing exceptional and unprecedented challenges and circumstances that will define the future of our world. Our organization needs to be fully prepared to come up with the appropriate solutions to ensure a balanced recovery and a fast response to the different challenges. It is high time we thought of long-term solutions. It is high time we achieved more for the future generations and for the youth. It is high time we became better prepared for future challenges, for establishing a stronger, more effective and connected multilateral system. In this regard, we renew to the Secretary General Tunisia's full readiness to actively engage with everyone to implement our common agenda. Mr. President, in Tunisia, we started building our capacities based on hope. Hope for a genuine and peaceful democracy, one that lives up to the will of the Tunisian people alone and their legitimate aspirations to a system that protects their sovereignty, rights, freedoms, and dignity. The dangerous situation threatening our country and community is attributed to a deeply rooted political polarization and a socio-economic and health crisis. This is why His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Mr. Qais Said, had to interfere and take a series of exceptional resolutions and measures based on our constitution to put the country back on the right path towards democracy, which is the will of the Tunisian people. We reaffirm that democracy in Tunisia is an irreversible option. An irreversible option to which we are committed. Human rights and public and individual freedoms are guaranteed and protected by institutions which are built on the principle of the rule of law and good governance. This is what our President has stressed time and again on every occasion. There is no way to establish a genuine democratic system without fighting corruption and ending impunity, which have exhausted and weakened our state and its institutions and judicial system. Building a stable state where all citizens are treated equally is a prerequisite for a peaceful community, sustainable development, and respect for human rights. This is what will allow the state to play its role in maintaining international peace and security, building sustainability, and respecting and implementing our common global values and human rights. Through its membership in the Security Council, Tunisia has proven its capacity to constructively contribute to finding solutions for a number of international issues, reconciling divergent views, overcoming differences, and building a new era of solidarity in international relations. This was proven when the Security Council unanimously adopted Resolution 2532. My country will spare no effort to achieve our common future aspirations and revitalize the United Nations we want and need in line with our common agenda. I would like to stress from this rostrum to all our friends and partners that Tunisia will remain what it was: a force of positive proposals and an active contributor to international peace, security, cooperation, and solidarity among all people and countries. Mr. President, Tunisia will also continue to play its influential role in the region by providing support and help to our sisters and brothers in Libya so they complete the political track and meet their expected political and electoral obligations. This will contribute to restoring security and stability in Libya and will help the country in recovering its role as a strong regional player away from any interference in its internal affairs. Once again, Tunisia welcomes the outcomes of the meeting of Libya's neighboring countries held in sisterly Algeria recently. It presented a vital regional mechanism to promote the critical role of Libya's neighboring countries in helping their Libyan brothers and sisters to overcome this period with the support of the United Nations and the international community. Mr. President, the Palestinian cause remains a fundamental issue that Tunisia will continue to defend. We call upon the United Nations in all its organs and mechanisms to end the suffering of the Palestinian people. How are we expected to build hope at a time when the international community has failed for 7 decades in ending the Israeli occupation of Palestine, despite the adoption of hundreds of international resolutions and tremendous regional and international efforts and initiatives? How can we ensure the respect of human rights around the world, Mr. President, when the rights of a people of one country in this world are being violated on a daily basis, especially their right to self-determination, their right to building their independent state on the lines of 1967 with Al-Quds Al-Sharif as a capital? If we truly want If we truly want the world to recover, it is unacceptable for the situation in Palestine to remain as it is today, because a true recovery is not only a recovery from a pandemic, but is also a recovery from tragedy and injustice. In the same vein, the continuing instability and human suffering in the Arab region should push the international community to shoulder its huge responsibility and double its efforts to move forward towards compromise in conflict areas, including Syria and Yemen. Our world will not recover if help is not provided to Africa to settle its draining conflicts, which will allow the continent to achieve the SDGs by 2030 and establish the Africa we want in line with the 2063 vision of the African Union. We stress the need for the international and regional communities to work together to counter terrorism and violent extremism, to adopt a comprehensive approach in dealing with migration, to promote efforts to fight climate change and its multidimensional repercussions, to bridge the digital and development gaps, to transfer technologies and develop educated communities. Mr. President, throughout our rich history, since Carthage and even before, since Roman, Byzantine, and Islamic times until today, Tunisia has represented a beacon and a pioneer for reconciliation, a bridge that connected different cultures, regions, and states. We have always advocated for tolerance, moderation, and acceptance of others. We played a firm, or women have played a firm role in that. For this reason, my country will host the 18th Summit of La Francophonie on November 20th and 21st this year. The summit will represent an important step to promote our common values of coexistence between people and civilizations. Tunisia will be a bridge for economic and development cooperation to help in achieving a solid and equal sustainable development by hosting next year the 8th meeting of the Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD 8. In conclusion, Mr. President, allow me to reaffirm that the people and leadership of Tunisia will continue to be an active partner for all countries, regional and international organizations, and the United Nations to promote peace and security, achieve development and respect for the human rights of all people, and to build a safer, more equal, and stable world. Thank you.
I thank the Minister for Foreign Affairs of Tunisia for his statement. I now give statement by His Excellency Narayan Khadka, Minister for Foreign Affairs of Nepal.